Okay.
He was just waiting
So,
to he was just waiting to see what Chill was sitting behind his back. That's all. But he available now.
okay, thank you, sir. Um, so, real quick, I wanted to first thank everyone for coming out today. You know, we have a very special guest on the call, um, a gentleman at whom has made his way through this business, doing what he does and bringing together some of the radio stations and media and in his own way. And I'm not gonna sit up here and praise this man's accolades because I can't. He's a good man to me, and a good man to me is a man that's able to really make things happen. He's been making it happen.
I'll second that motion.
So,
Thank you guys.
I mean, you know, you need to listen to him tonight. I'm glad you all came out. And man, I really appreciate you for coming through. I know that you're busy, busy man. All right. So without further ado, let me introduce. Oh, thank you, Kermit, by the way. But let me introduce on our digital radio tracker, Mr. Mike Matthews. What's going on,
Hey,
bro?
what's happening, Chill? Thanks for having me on tonight. I wanted to take a few minutes and come through and answer questions and give back like we always do. I've been hearing so much about you guys' call. I had told Kermit, I said, man, we've got to get on this thing. And then speaking to you the other day, it was just so enlightening. I love the movement, what you're creating and what you're doing with just getting the education out. And that's a big, big thing for me and what we've been doing. Hell, but DRT is now 15 years old, man. Sometimes I think it's like we just started yesterday. It's
Yeah.
new to the world. I would never think that I would be building a global brand. I mean, I'm talking to people all over the world and they're loving what we're doing. And the big thing for us is we want to be a voice for the unheard. We've always been that voice. I've been 100% behind the independent voice since I started the industry. Been in the industry for 34 years. And everybody that knows me knows I come from a radio background, a management background, and I won't spend a whole lot of time talking about my background and doing all the name dropping and all that type of thing. The history's too long. I can tell people just Google it, but we're enjoying what we do. We love building the community that we've built. We've got thousands of radio stations all over the world. And one of the things that we like about what we do, it's about the little guy, we call it. So for so many years, the gatekeepers and so many others in this industry have locked the doors and don't want to give certain territories a voice, like Mexico and Russia and India and South Africa. And we came in there and we said, wait a minute, there's real listeners out here. There's real music lovers all over the world. And there's real DJs and real radio stations that have a following. Like I've heard several stations as I came on this call, we're talking about they've got thousands to hundreds of thousands of listeners. And that's what I love about what we do, because being able to see it from the inside out.
You looking like that.
Yeah,
Too many
Hey,
people
Punch.
unmuted. Too many people
Punch.
unmuted. You need co-hosts to unmute people that don't know how to be on Zoom calls, please.
That's your buddy. That's your buddy.
okay, that's all right. I know Kermit will get them.
DJ Punch is not the only one. It's about 5 people unmuted.
Yeah, what's so
Yeah.
beautiful about it is that when you're looking at it from this side, we're able to see those analytics. We're able to see that these stations have huge listening audiences. And for so many years, a lot of the industry has overlooked these stations. And that's why we said, no, wait a minute. We're going to come in, we're going to help build that community. We're going to give them a voice, and we're going to say, hey, wait a minute. You are breaking records. You deserve to have a voice in this industry. You guys are making a difference and you matter. And that's what Digital Radio Tracker stands for, because there's so many other platforms out here that everybody runs behind, but at the end of the day, they really don't care about you. They're really not trying to give you a voice. They say they do, but then it's what we call a limited voice. And what we wanted to do with Digital Radio Trackers, we wanted to say, hey, we are the people's brand. We wanted to represent everyone of all backgrounds, of all sizes of stations. It wasn't about whether you had 100 listeners or you had 1,000,000 listeners, whether you were based in a major market or you were based in a small market that nobody's ever even heard of. That wasn't about a thing for us. What it was about was giving everyone a voice and saying, hey, wait a minute. I don't care if there's 100 people listening or 1,000,000 people listening. You guys are making a difference and you matter. So that's what I love about what you guys are doing with your movement, Chill, and the whole education piece. I think it's fantastic. And like I told you the other day, and I'll say it publicly here, whatever we can do to support what you guys are doing, please let us know. We would love to be a part of it and love to help in any way that we can, because just like you guys believe in us, we believe in you as well. And I think it's very, very important that there's not enough of us coming together and saying that publicly and being able to back up those words with actions. So just like I told you, I was going to be on your call, I'm here. And that's what it's about. It's about we have to walk the walk, not talk the talk. And that's what's going on with this music industry now. There's a lot of people running around in, as we say, but there's very few people in it that's making a difference. And life is just too short out here. We all have something to say. We all have to play a role in this business, and we all can make a difference, especially if we work together. So I'm here to answer any questions anybody has. It's not about getting on these calls and promoting DRT. A lot of people have heard of us. A lot of people know what we do already. What it's about is making sure that people have an understanding, making sure there's clarity in the atmosphere, making sure that this networking is available to everyone so everyone can give suggestions, ideas. How do we build? How do we come together? How do we educate? How do we take artists and build them up to another level? I mean, a lot of people know me. I have a successful marketing company, Dominion Marketing. We've been around for 34 years, and we do our thing with marketing music to radio and the streaming and all the various aspects of music marketing. But what it's about building brands. It's about helping elevate one another. And that's ultimately what I want to do on these calls, is try to figure out how we can come together and what can we do to make a difference in this industry that we all love.
Okay, well, I have a question. When it comes to, besides building morale, when it comes to DRT, what exactly are you doing for artists? Like, what exactly does the technology do?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Well, there's a lot of things that DRT does. Like I said, the main thing that we do is we give a voice to the unheard. We are a new music discovery platform. So a lot of people don't understand that the value of the DRT charts and why it's important. We've been publishing charts every week for 15 years. A lot of people don't know that. So what that means is there's a lot of people in the industry that look at those charts every week. There's major labels, there's distributors, there's A&R talent scouts, there's various executives in the music industry that read it like it's the newspaper. A lot of people will be surprised. It was funny because just the other day, someone sent me a breakdown. They were talking to AI and they were asking AI the difference, Billboard charts versus the DRT charts. And it was really interesting because I never even read any of those types of things. And I encourage people to actually go in and use AI and ask AI, what does Digital Radio Tracker does? How does it bring value to you? Because a lot of times when you're the owner of a company or the founder, it's easy to say, okay, these are the benefits. But we always encourage people, do your research and you find out how have other people benefited. We have our own line of plaques where there's thousands of plaques all over the world. And people don't even realize something simple as a permanent fixture on your wall commemorating your success. For a lot of independents, they'll never see a Billboard award. They'll never see a Spotify award. They'll never see an Apple and iTunes plaque, any of those things. But what we did was we created something that was tangible, that was reachable for everyone. It wasn't just isolating to a certain peer group. It wasn't just isolating to certain radio stations. It wasn't anything like that. We wanted to make something universal where everyone can have a voice. everyone can have an opportunity to participate, and everyone can also be discovered. With our charts, we focus on Apple Music and Spotify, which are the two largest streaming platforms. So what happens is when your song is on the DRT charts, we also help impact your streams. And people don't realize that because a lot of people are seeing, they say, well, who is this at number 50? Who is this at number 40? Let me stream that song. Let me check that out. Let me find out what that's about, because apparently if it's on the charts, it must be making noise. It must be something happening with this. It must be separating itself from the rest. That's the number one thing that charts do. It separates you from all the other artists out here in just a nutshell, whether it's a top 100, whether it's a 50, whether it's a top 150. So that in itself, you've got millions of artists. People don't even realize there's over 100,000 tracks released a day. A day. That's a tremendous amount of music globally that's being released. So what's going to separate you from everybody else? Well, one easy way to do that is to chart your song, is to get some exposure on it, is to be exposed to the industry in a whole different way. And that was one of the things that we wanted to do. We wanted to be a voice for the unheard. We wanted to be able to take these undiscovered artists and we wanted to put a spotlight on them. We wanted to be able to give them a little shine, whether they have the big budgets or they have no budget. And being able to say, wait a minute, we recognize you. You're out here doing the work. You're out here working with these smaller, independent, digitally streamed stations that we monitor. Therefore, your song is able to chart. So in having that ability, we've now given you an additional voice to be able to make an impact. So we're not the end game. We always say it like this. Digital Radio Tracker is a stepping stone. We believe in incubating records. We believe in taking young records at an infancy stage and begin to start molding them and begin to create their initial story. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about building your brand, building your story, creating awareness, and allowing your fan base to grow. And the only way that's going to happen is getting your music before a real audience. And that's what DRT does. It validates. It allows you to be able to have a third party. We don't own these stations. We don't manage these artists. These artists are not on our labels or anything like that. We're literally giving them a voice. We're saying, wait a minute, we're a third party that's able to step in and say, wait a minute, this song and that song is able to do something that other songs are not able to do, therefore giving them voice to the unheard.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, I did. Okay, you say you were looking out for the independent artists or the smaller radio stations. Let's say an artist does end up on the DRT and they get their first DRT report. What should they do with that information?
That's an excellent question. What a lot of people don't do, and what surprises a lot of people when they get their DRT reports, think about this. How many times are MP3s leaked on social media every day? How do you know where that song is being played at? That MP3 is traveling all over the world. You have DJs sharing it with other DJs. You have people doing e-blast, all types of things that happen with music marketing. So before DRT, there was no way of finding out what was going on with that MP3, what was happening with that song. Is anybody playing it on maybe in Japan, in Korea, in Australia, other territories that you may have never even been to? So what's been shocking is the amount of people that get DRT reports and they see that they're getting airplay in other parts of the world that they didn't even know about. So what that means, to answer your question, is it opens the doors to set up interviews. It opens doors to book shows. It opens doors for be able to do micro marketing. Say you're doing advertising with Meta, Facebook, and things. Now you're able to go in and advertise within those territories that maybe those stations have a lot of listeners in, to be able to further expand your reach and your brand. So these are all effective ways, if those analytics are used properly, that you can then monetize and be able to further perpetuate your brand. So in addition to that, if you're getting enough airplay spins from those stations, those chart reporting stations, then your song can then chart. So then at that point, once your song charts, you qualify for DRT certified plaques, but also you then have the exposure of being on those charts, like I said earlier, which is being seen by people all over the world. So when you think about it, when you're on a chart, you're going to send a picture of that chart. You may post on it social media. You may send it to your friends, family, other influencers, tastemakers. But what happens when you circulate the chart around? What also happens? Other people then see. They say, well, wait a minute. I see you at number 50, but I also see these other artists at number 40, at number 30, etc. So what happens is it's cultivating a community where everyone is actually helping build each other's brands, create awareness about artists that you may never even heard of. We get calls all the time from different executives at different record companies, and they say, who is this artist? Who is that artist at number 10? Or we've heard this artist. What's going on with it? And you'll be surprised at who is actually looking at this stuff. It shocks me all the time because I say, well, how'd you even know about it? Who even sent you the chart? And something as simple happened just the other day. Someone took the charts and they were having a meeting at a couple major labels. I won't mention any names or mention the artist name. And they were showing them the charts and they were saying, hey, look at what we're doing and building our story. We're getting our song out there. It's currently on the DRT charts. And what was interesting, the executives started reading the chart and started taking interest in some of the other artists they saw. So here it was, someone taking a meeting about their project, and all of a sudden, some of the other artists begin to get on the radar. But if they weren't on the chart, they would have never even had a potential opportunity to be seen or discovered. So there's a lot of cross marketing that happens with DRT that a lot of people don't give credit for, or don't recognize what's going on behind closed doors. Especially right now with technology, DRT is at the forefront of it because we're the first music company to do an AI chart. We release an AI music chart only every week. We've been doing it since February 26th. We've launched. So we've already been doing it for 6 months. And again, this is what we stand for, giving a voice to the unheard. A lot of people don't know there's over 1,200 AI artists that are already in existence. Most people can't even name 5 of them, or they have to go and look at our chart just to even see who the top 25 are. And again, it proves my point. We are a new music discovery platform. People think going to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you're going to find new music. Sure, you will. But you got to know who to look for, right? Whereas with DRT, we're already bringing them to you. We're shining a spotlight on it saying, hey, wait a minute. Go check out Angel Baby. It's the hottest AI artist out here. You need to hear this guy. He sounds like a cross between Post Malone and Eminem. This is what it's about. New music discovery. It's about, wait a minute, pay attention, because if you call yourself being in this industry, then you need to be a connoisseur of this industry. You need to know who the players are. You need to know who your competition are. You need to know what their music sounds like. You need to know what people are streaming out here. So when you go and you investigate and you find out that these AI artists is out streaming you, is out marketing you and everything else, as a human, that means we have to step our game up. So what we decided to do was we decided to even share the AI world, and we created an AI-friendly space, whereas everybody else, Billboard, Spotify, Apple, every platform out here is frowning on AI music, and the reality is it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. It's only growing. So that particular community needs a voice. So therefore, DRT has stepped up. And we said, no, we're going to be the first. We'll step up and we'll give, you can say what you want to about us. We're going to give these people a voice. Let me tell you why. Because some of these people that are behind this, or maybe even some of the artists on this call, people don't understand that what's happening is people get older. They find out maybe they can't make it as an artist, but they're a hit songwriter. They got some incredible songs, but they can no longer be an artist. So therefore, they go create AI avatars, and they do AI generated music, and they release their hit songs under these AI avatars. So now what has happened is you have a split. You have what's called AI generated, and you have the other side, which is called AI hybrid. AI hybrid is where you are a human, but you're using AI, whether it's to produce your music or to help write your songs, or maybe do some background vocals for you, ad libs, etc. That's AI assisted, AI hybrid music. So all of these things are already developing, whether we acknowledge it or not, whether we accept it or not. We have to understand it's a part of our real music industry. So we have to be open to these things and say, hey, wait a minute. While we want to talk about this side, there's a lot of money being made in the AI space right now. Let me tell you why. Because it's backed by technology. Tech companies, think about this. Tech companies have more money than record companies. You don't want to be signed by a record company. You actually want to be signed by a tech company, and you'll see how much more money you can actually make. But that's a whole nother animal. But again, I hope that adds value to your question and what you asked for those that may be asking about the new AI.
I did. Well, I was asking about what? Look, Lord, we got so dig into the data. Like, what did I ask? Oh, well, you know, I did want to ask you this question when you brought up airplay. How much airplay is enough to demonstrate that a record is gaining real momentum? And if you're like a new artist, should I stick with like small markets or big markets when I see my airplay numbers?
Man, I love you. It's my first time meeting. I love these questions you're throwing at me because this really can help people. The reality is this: all airplay is good airplay. Like I said earlier, whether a station has 100 listeners or a station has 1 million listeners, what it's about building your brand, building an audience, and creating awareness for your music. And think about it like this. I always tell my clients, you got to get to 100 before you get to 1,000, before you get to 10,000, before you get to 1 million. We all want to get to the millions and so forth. But the reality is you got to go through these benchmarks. So when you think about it like from an audience basis, if you add up those 10 digital streaming radio stations that got 10,000 listeners on each one of them, you got 100,000. It's simple math. You know, I get it. Not everybody's graduated. Not everybody's good at math. I wasn't that good at math, but we all got a calculator in our hand now with these phones. It all adds up. It all makes a difference. So what you want to do is don't underestimate anybody. That's what we learned about digital streaming radio. So many people want to skip over digital streaming radio and they want to get into terrestrial FM. Well, let's look at the reality. Let's look at the numbers. People don't realize there's more advertising dollars being pumped into online digital radio than there is at terrestrial FM. There's now more people listening to digital radio than there is FM. If you go ask 100 kids under the age of 15 years old, how many of them listen to terrestrial FM? You will be shocked.
No.
I guarantee you it's 80 to 85% do not listen, I'm going to say it again, don't even listen to terrestrial FM. Most of them don't even know the local radio station. And I'm being real with you. I'm not saying it from my opinion. Yeah. I'm saying go take the statistics yourself and you find out. The reality is, who would have thought 20 years ago that we would consume music from a refrigerator, that we would consume music from smart speakers, and all of these devices now is how music is consumed. It's not necessarily consumed by traditional radio. It's just not anymore. I know people don't want to hear that. I know it doesn't sound good, especially to those that work at major radio. I make a living from major radio. But at the same time, the reality is what the reality is. We didn't make this up. So that's why I tell people all the time, there's very few people in the music industry, but there's many people running around in it. So you have to figure out, what do you want to do? Do you want to be in it or do you want to be around it? And if you want to be in it, then you have to understand these fundamental facts.
Okay. I see we got two hands up. We got Kermit hand up, and then we got Remo's A&R hand. It was up.
Okay. Here's my question. Questions. One is that you may have already said it, but do artists know that they're going to get that they can sign up for free and be able to look at the charts and all that stuff for free? They can get a free account on the Radio Tracker. That's number one. Another one is the importance of radio stations to be able to report to Digital Radio Tracker, even though any airplay is better than no airplay, but to have it applied toward getting credit for being played, or royalties, or the fact that it's a chart reporting station, or things like that. And you know yourself, I thought that Live 365 were automatic reporters, but that's the way it used to be. I didn't know they had changed, that now everybody is, have to pay to be recorded unless they're grandfathered in already or something like that. The last thing is that we have two people on this call right now that's had #1 records. We got Alexis Brie on here, but she's not
That's fantastic.
she's not available.
Congratulations, Alexis.
She's still she hear you, but she's still recuperating from her hospital stay. Then we have somebody on here representing Larizzi, who was #1 for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I remember Larizzi. Yeah,
and then we have Jay Hen on here, who's in the top 10 right now. Matter of fact, I'm helping promote three songs that's currently in the top 10. Alexis and Jay Hen being the two that's here today. So
I mean, that's fantastic. And again, that's what it's about. It's about, just like you're telling these stories, it's about having something to conversate about. People need to have more to talk about on social media than just having your song. Oh, I got a song out. Well, so does, like I said, over 100,000 a day come out. It's, you want to be able to have more. When you do your podcast, when you do your interviews, when you PR, at least you can say, hey, I'm on the charts. I got this happening. I got that happening. Sometimes that makes the big difference on just people taking you seriously. That's like the #1 thing. That's one of the hardest things to do in the music industry, is to get people to take you seriously. If you can do that, you can get so much further. One of the things, like Kermit just mentioned about DRT, that we do that's very different from other platforms is we're the only platform in the world. We offer a free searchable database. There's no charge for it. So you can go on Digital Radio Tracker's website,
They might not understand. Like,
search, you can put the artist name in there and see if it even comes up.
People are unmuted again. Excuse me. Please, people, if somebody can make me a co-host, I can help you with that. But people keep unmuting and talking over mic, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. And so what happens is when you go on that search, if you see your song come up, that automatically lets you know that you have airplay on your song. If you can't find your song in there, that means you don't have any airplay. It's very, very simple. We decided to offer that completely for free. Anybody can go on the website and use it at any given time. You don't have to buy a report. You don't have to spend a dime on anything. Now, yes, if you want to know where your song is being played after you search, then you'd want to get one of those analytical reports to be able to break down the stations, the spins, and see what's going on. You can even get a comprehensive report that actually tells you what time of day your song was played, all of that. But most importantly, to further piggyback on that question you asked earlier, when it comes to the analytics and the importance of it, is that what a lot of people have been using it for is to fight for royalties. Think about it like this. When you call your Performance Rights Society or Sound Exchange or any of these companies and you say, hey, where's my royalty check? I've been getting airplay. You know what they're going to tell you? Well, we don't have a check for you. Well, the difference is when you're able to go in there with a DRT report, again, we're a third-party company. We have no skin in the game whatsoever. So you're able to take a third-party company's analytics and say, hey, wait a minute. Because this is one of the reasons why I founded DRT. Because I used to call all these companies and you know what they all used to say? Well, provide evidence, provide proof. How do we know you're getting played in China, in Japan, in Australia, and all over the place? And I said, well, wait a minute. Okay, if I'm doing all this hard work for my clients and I'm marketing their music all over the world and they are getting played, we have to make sure that there's some kind of evidence or proof so we can get with these lawyers, we can give them the ammunition, and we can fight for what's ours. Because people don't realize it. It's just like winning the lottery. People don't understand it. You have to claim it. Nobody asks the question, what happens to the money if nobody claims it? Where's all the money keep going all the time? It's the same thing in the music industry. If we don't claim our money, where does it go? Whose pockets is being lined with our money from our creative work, our intellectual property? That's very, very important. So that's one of the things that Digital Radio Tracker does, is we give you that third-party validation proof that you can say, hey, wait a minute, I know you don't want to pay me, but that's okay. And we've had several people email us and say, wait a minute, we thank you for what you're doing in your reports because we wouldn't even have gotten a royalty check unless we showed them that DRT report and they were able to say, hey, wait a minute. Okay, you are getting played over there. We just didn't see it or we just didn't know it. Obviously, they're not going to want to see it. So sometimes it takes people stepping out of the box and being able to open it up and be able to expose things that sometimes others don't want exposed.
I see a question saying, is it true that satellite radio pays more in royalties? Is that true?
Yes, that's actually whoever asked that question, they're actually on the money. Yes, satellite radio, that's why everybody pretty much wants to be played on Sirius XM, then they go to Pandora, etc. Because yes, the royalties are higher.
Okay, so
I told you. See, you gonna listen to your big brother. Listen. They think I be lying.
It's okay.
Right.
It's okay. I got your back. We on this call together. But
Right.
Even if this
Right,
wasn't your call, that's a fact. You can ask AI, Google. That's a fact. The other thing people don't know, or a lot of people don't know, is royalties are also paid more by territory tiers. So, for example, United States, Canada, United Kingdom, those are tier one territories. So when you get streams in those territories, you're going to get paid more for your streams than you will in Brazil, in Spain, and in Japan, and other parts of the world. So a lot of people don't also understand that. Same thing with streaming companies. Apple, you got Tidal. Tidal will pay more. Why? Actually, because there's less people on it. Obviously, there's more people on Apple and there's more people on Spotify. But Tidal actually pays more than they do. So that's another thing that people don't understand. So it's a combination. So if people are trying to get into the royalty game and that kind of hustle or whatever, and I'm not here to endorse anybody with that, then do your research and find out where the proper payments are coming from. And if that's what you're going to do and that's your hustle, then so be it. But then at least do your research so you know where to target.
Okay. So I found out where to target. I found out that I can get on your website for free and track what's going on, the momentum with my music. What else should an artist have prepared before investing money or time into the radio promotions?
Well, there's a lot of things that artists should do.
Well, top two. Don't go to the top two.
I would say the top two, and I mean this is just going to be probably just straightforward. It's really not even a top two. It's really a top one. It's make sure that you have the right record. Everybody else is going to say things like your artwork and you get your bio together, get your website together, get your social media together, all that other stuff. What I'm going to tell you from my 34 years in this game is get a hit record. Everybody in this business has time for a hit record. What they don't have time for is a non-hit record. So think about that. You can have the best looking artwork, the best looking website, the best looking social media. You can have 10 million followers on social media, all this other stuff. But if you don't have the right record, nobody cares. Go ask any DJ, any program director, any music curator. It's about the business in the beginning of the day. That's why it's called the business of music. It's not called the music business. The music business is a slang term. That's what we all throw around in the streets. We say this is the music business. It's not the music business. If you talk to anybody that's in the business, they always say it. It's the business of music. The reason why it's said that way is because it's the business first and it's the music at the end of the day. So what that means is if you take care of your business, the music will then come back and take care of you as long as you have the right song. And that's what most people don't do is they don't spend the time to do focus groups, to do proper research, to make sure, do calls like this. You guys, from what I understand, you guys review music all the time. Is find out from your peers, is this the right damn song before you get to investing money behind it? Most people don't want to do that. They think that they got the right song because they jumped up and down in the studio last night with their homeboys. This is the record of the year. And yet nobody's endorsing it because most of the time the people around you are not the people that are going to stream it, are not the people that are going to share it, are not the people that are even going to save it. In order to trigger algorithms, you have to have those combinations and you have to have a lot of them. So the reality is that you're not going to trigger algorithms if you didn't do your homework to make sure you have the right type of song that when you do put it out there and you push it, that people are going to save it, they're going to share it, and they're going to repost it and everything else in between. But you can't even get your peers to do something simple like your picture, like your post. Something as simple as that to do that. That's the craziest thing in the world. So think about it. If people around you won't even do the free stuff, then this is what I say, and I'll say it publicly. Then be prepared to pay people that don't know you to like your stuff. Because at the end of the day, what I say earlier, it's about people taking you seriously. So sometimes even the people around you have to be convinced that you have something special before they'll get engaged with you.
This is true.
So I'm not against it. I'll say it publicly again. Sometimes you have to influence other people that don't know who you are to support you and get on the bandwagon. I tell people all the time, a moving train. Nobody wants to hop on a train that's still. Everybody wants to hop on a moving train. The question is, it's how fast do you want to get your train moving? Only you can decide that.
Someone in the chat asks, what if Spotify and Apple show radio spins? Well, they show radio spins. Let me read this slowly. They show radio spins, but DRT doesn't match or show the radio saying how we.
Okay, that's a great question someone's asking. Well, first of all, those platforms are not broadcast monitoring platforms. So I'm going to put that out there to think about for a minute. See, these are reputable platforms, but they don't specialize in monitoring music. So they don't factor in grouping. They don't factor in stations going down. They don't factor in live interviews. They don't factor in other things like that. They don't factor in specialty shows. They don't factor in mixed shows. They don't factor in all of these types of things. So when you don't factor those things in, there will be a difference in spins. It happens all the time in this business. Some stations are monitored sporadically. Some stations are monitored 24/7, 365. You have some stations have downtime. A lot of people don't even know this. There's a lot of radio stations that don't even broadcast at night. They shut down. They only function 8 hours a day. So all of these types of things can affect spins or spin counts. Then there's also stations that stream music. There's stations that function like playlists. Playlists like on Spotify, what does it do? It plays music. There's no air personality. There's nobody talking. There's no back announcement. There's no nothing. It's just songs playing, right? There's radio stations that do the same exact thing, as well as there's stations like some that are on this call that do interviews, that do live feeds. They do other specialty podcasts, interviews, all kinds of different things that they do. All of that does affect your airplay. So that's a big, big difference. The other thing that people don't recognize is not all radio stations are monitored. Do you even know how many digital streaming radio stations there are out here? There's over 100,000 of them. DRT only monitors, we monitor almost 6,000. That's how many, and I'm saying it publicly, that's how many stations that we monitor. And we're one of the largest. Most of our competitors only monitor 100 or 2 or 300. Some of them are very selective. That's another thing too that people don't keep in mind, is that you can get certain amount of spins in one platform, another platform you'll have a certain amount of spins. Why? Because they may only be monitoring 2 or 3 stations that you're getting airplay on, whereas another platform may be monitoring more stations. So these are just some fundamental reasons why your analytics will look different. That's why we always tell people it's not about digital radio tracker. We're in and, not in or. In and meaning you want to get a media-based report. You want to get a DRT report. You want to get a warm report, whatever out here. There's the Apple Music report, a Spotify. You want to get everybody's stuff. You know why? Because that's the only true way that you or your manager or executive is going to have all of the analytics to be able to measure your success or failure and what's really going on with the song. So we say it by far. Don't just look at a DRT report. No, you can't. It's impossible because we've already admitted we don't monitor every station here. Nobody does. Nobody does. It's impossible. I'm going to tell you why. Because it costs us millions of dollars to do this. And nobody's going to spend millions and millions of dollars, whether they have it or not, to monitor 100,000 plus stations so everybody can have all these wonderful analytics in one place. It just doesn't work that way.
Okay.
There's monitoring companies overseas.
Matter of fact, the company that SoundScan and Billboard represented, they went out of business.
And that's what a lot of
they
people
got
don't.
more money than anybody. They went out of
There-
business in doing it. They didn't even care no more.
Exactly.
But while we're on that
Exactly.
subject, can you tell people the importance of a station before we go to Remo and Hipstars? Can you give us the importance of a station being monitored and the cost of being monitored? Because I think it's like less than 40 cents a day or something.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, you always break it down to the day. The reality is this: all of our competitors, a lot of them charge annual fees, which is what, of course, a lot of people frown on. A lot of the smaller stations, you just can't afford it. A lot of them charge exorbitant fees, some are in the thousands of dollars. What we wanted to do is we wanted to create something that was affordable. We charge a one-time setup fee. That's it, $149. One-time setup fee. That's it. That's it. Because we want your station to, one, have a voice, but we want your station to be able to have the resources that it needs to be able to make money. That's why you're doing this. You can't make money if you're paying thousands of dollars in monitoring fees, thousands of dollars in licensing fees to play all this music. I mean, where are you fitting at? You don't. That's why there's so many stations that go under all the time. Like Kermit just mentioned, Nielsen BDS was one of the largest monitoring companies in the world. They were providing the data for the Billboard charts, as we all know, and they shut down 3 years ago. As a matter of fact, November, 3 years ago, November, they went out of business. They shut it down. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't care who you call, who you says the word BDS and all that stuff. BDS stands for Broadcast Data Systems. Most people don't even know what it stood for. They're gone. So if a billion-dollar company like Nielsen can shut down and people are still questioning Digital Radio Tracker and shocked that 15 years we're still here struggling and giving a voice to the unheard and focusing on the little guy, because we can, trust me, we can focus on Hot 97 in New York and Power 106 in LA and all these big stations of the world that have the budgets to pay us for monitoring and everything else in between. We said no. We said we forfeited that. What we did was we said, look, we'll include a percentage of your data. But however, what we focus on, we have a little over 1,000 terrestrial FM stations that we monitor. We said, no, we want to be a voice for the unheard. So the majority of the stations that Digital Radio Tracker monitors is unknown, new and developing stations that are growing their audience and that are serious about broadcasting, and we're giving them a voice. And then on top of that, we're focusing on territories like Africa, Mexico, Russia, India, areas that nobody wants to monitor. There's no company in the world monitoring any stations in Mexico but Digital Radio Tracker. We're the only company in America, the only company that monitors BBC Radio Network in Europe, which is the #1 network. They're like, for those that don't know, BBC is like the iHeart that's here in America over there in Europe. We're the only company that's monitoring them. We're giving them a voice all the way here in America because nobody else wants to. It's crazy. And these are things that people don't understand, that goes on the backroom politics that happens in the music industry all the time from these gatekeepers that say, hey, you know what? Whatever's being played on XYZ station, that's what we're going to put on those charts. That's what we're going to say is hot and happening in the streets. That's what we're going to say is the next hit record is this, only because it's being played on this station and this station. Hey, wait a minute. There's a whole lot of records being broke online that these particular stations may never play in life. But these people deserve a voice. And that's what Digital Radio Tracker stands for.
What were you trying to ask, Mr. Remo?
Let me hear, Remo. I've been waiting. You've been biting at the chip over there.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. I'm patient. I wouldn't even got this over if I wasn't. At the end of the day, you're talking about the charts and everything, and I wanted to know, when artists come on and actually, they're not in the, coming on from a radio station perspective, how do they actually get on these different stations?
That's a fantastic question. Well, I tell you right now, being on a call like this is #1 already, because there's stations on this call already. So that's a great place to start. One of the things we did at DRT that we have built a strong community, man. Everybody knows everybody. We are monitoring. I'll use this as an example because I heard it brought up earlier. The Fleet DJs. We're the only company in the world. We monitor 91 Fleet DJ stations in the Fleet DJ network. We monitor the whole network. 91 stations. They break a lot of music. There's a lot of they have stations in every state all over the country. So people don't even understand that it's not hard because all of it, and I believe a young lady said it earlier when I first logged on. They're very open. A lot of digital streaming radio stations are very receptive to playing new and developing artists. So what it's about doing the legwork. It's about getting on calls like Come Clean Empire's call and saying, hey, you know what? Here's my new song. Promote yourself. Get on these other calls. Be able to connect with people like Kermit, the Superstar Maker. There's DJ Will. There's so many people that know people in this industry that can connect you with those other stations and be able to say, hey, wait a minute. I have a new single that's being worked that I'm promoting out here. You need to consider it for airplay. And digital radio is one of the most receptive platforms to be able to break your new music. And from there, like I said earlier, it's a stepping stone. Nobody said it's going to be the end game. Nobody said it's getting ready to make you millions of dollars. No, it's a stepping stone to build your story. It's like the first brick in your legacy that you're laying as you build your empire. You have to think of it like that. So we tell so many people they overlook digital radio. They want to go straight to Sirius XM. They want to go straight to Pandora. They want to go straight to terrestrial FM and all these wonderful things. And they don't realize there's a huge listening audience globally that they're missing out on. Because think of it like this. If you're a creative and you're putting your music out, do you really care who's buying your music? As long as people are buying it. Do you really care what area it's being streamed from? Yes, we all would like it to be our backyard, our hometown, our home state. All of that would be great, sure. But the reality is, if people in China is loving your music, why the hell do you want to keep your music back from them? And you're trying to make local Chicago love you, and they don't even appreciate you, but you got all these people appreciate you on the other side of the world. Give them what they want. That's what I say. Let the music speak. I used to have a business associate of mine. He passed years ago, but he used to tell me things like this. He said, you know what? He said, people don't get it in this record business. Is you got to shoot everything in sight and let the paramedics sort it out. That was his big line. It's sometimes you have to take that guerrilla approach with your music. Is shoot everything in sight, man. Let the paramedics sort it out. You quit trying to be the paramedics. Quit trying to worry about, well, I got to have this and I got to have that. No, what you got to have is a hit record. Like I said earlier, if you have a hit record, all of these people are going to jump on it. All of these people. There's a record going on right now. I don't have anything to do with this record, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Maybe some people on this call have heard this record. But this record came across my desk, and it's a hit record. The reason why I'm speaking it and I'm calling it on this call is because, and the people behind it don't even really probably even like me, but it doesn't matter because I'm real about this business. But I'm getting ready to use this as an example. The artist is called Chameleon. If anybody's heard this record, it's called In Here. If you haven't, go research it. Go play this record. Go YouTube it, Spotify, whatever you do, go stream it. It already has over 1 million streams on Apple Music. You probably never heard of this girl. I believe she's from Jacksonville, Florida or something. She's not Cardi B. She's not Nicki Minaj. She's not out there like that. But she's on her way. She's on her way. This record is moving so fast out here. It's because of what I said earlier. That's why I said do your research. Go find out. When you hear people mention records that are moving, that means there's got to be something in it. These people don't have millions of dollars. These people don't know every DJ out here. This is a young lady from Jacksonville, Florida that's a hustler. She's working hard. She created a song that people are gravitating to quickly.
What did you say name of it was?
Chameleon. In Here, I believe the name of the song.
That's actually Tony Neal's artist.
Okay, there you go. Well, hey, Tony, congratulations because you got you a hit damn record. And I'm saying,
this is actually her second record. The first one got stuck with the label situation. So she
see,
went
there you
back
go.
independent.
You know more about it than I do. That's my point. See, it doesn't even matter because we're talking about it. That's my whole point. Is you want people talking about your music. You want your music to be so damn good that it's moving fast. And that's what I saw happening with that song. That song came on my radar about 2 months ago. And I mean, they ain't looked back since. It's growing by the day. That's how you know you have something special.
Okay.
But what it takes is positioning. That's what it takes. It's called positioning your music. Position your music. Get your music incubated. Get it out there by any means necessary, any which way you can. Get it started. Get it moving. And that's the whole point. Like I said earlier about the train, even if it's only moving 1 mile an hour, it's moving. It can move faster if you trust the process. You will find the players along the way. The industry is very, very small. I tell people this all the time. The music industry is 1 degree of separation. It's just 1 degree. That means everybody on this call can pick up the phone and we can get a hold of anybody we want. I can call Snoop Dogg, I can call anybody because it's 1 degree of separation. It's not hard if you understand that. So if you know one person who knows one person who knows one person, you may personally don't know that person. You don't need to know that person. I tell people all the time, quit trying to be the man or the woman. Just focus on being the man or the woman next to the man or the woman. That's all you got to do. I'm in rooms all the time with hundreds of DJs. They don't even know. A lot of them are playing my records. They don't even know that it's my records because I don't have to be the man. That's the problem with everybody. They want to be, oh man, I'm the one that gave them that record. No, I don't need to be the one to give them the record. I need to get to the person that can give them the record that will make them play the record. That's the difference. It's not about, and I'll give this one for free on this call, Chill. I'll send you an invoice later. When you run into a DJ, the worst thing you can ask the DJ is, will you play the record? That's what it is about. It's about, will you play it? It's not about, what do you think? Do you feel the record? Is it hot or not? It's, will you play it? I don't care if you like it or not. The record could be garbage to you. DJs play records every day, and there's probably some DJs on this call, and they can attest to it. They play records every day they don't even like. They don't even like. But they playing it. So that's one of the tips that I gave for free on this call. That's what I learned in years of promoting records. Quit asking these damn DJs, what do you think, man? It's hot. It's happening. Everybody in the streets love my record. They don't care about that. Just ask them, is this something you will play? Is this something you will support? Most of the time, I'm not even asking them to play it right now. I just want to know, is this something you'd play? Think about that for a minute. These artists that are on this call right now, go ask 10, 20, 30 DJs. Don't give them any money. Don't beg them to play the record. Just ask them, is this something that you would play? And find out. If you don't ask 10 DJs and all 10 of them ain't none of them telling you they would play the damn thing, why are you pushing that record? Why is it your next single? But if you went and asked 10 DJs and they all 10 of them say, look, I'll play it for you. This is a good song. I like this enough to play it. That's all you need to hear. Then you need to go get with what I say earlier, the right messengers. Quit trying to be the man. Quit trying to be the woman. Go find out who's connected to them. See, once I learned that little secret, this was years and years ago, I was able to get so many records played. Everybody, how in the world is he getting all these records played? I don't even know 90% of these damn people. It's because I didn't need to know them. I needed to know who they know. So I don't need to know everybody on this call. I know Kermit, I know Chill. They know everybody else. So what difference does it make, right? See, that's what it's about. It's about building community. It's about understanding not one of us can do this alone. We need each other. So that's to prove my point. So we have to be open enough. And we have to, the ego's at the door. We have to be receptive enough to say, wait a minute, Let me call Kermit and ask him for some help. Let me call Chill and ask him for some advice. That's ultimately what's going to determine whether you're successful or not. I see Lucky's on this call. Lucky's somebody I respect. Lucky's been doing street promotion for years. I met Lucky doing street promotion. I didn't know who the hell he was, but I saw his work. That's the difference. Me and him began to get a mutual respect for each other because we see each other everywhere. But the difference is we see each other working. We don't see each other talking. That's what it's about in the music industry. You have to walk the walk. You don't know who's looking. You don't know who's paying attention. Like I said on this call publicly, they don't even know. You said Tony Neal behind it. They don't even know that I know about the Chameleon record. They don't know how many people I've done told about that Chameleon record. This is how the industry works, is you don't underestimate people. You don't know who people know. You don't know who's picking up the phone behind closed doors saying, wait a minute, you know what? Look out for Remo. Remo's got this killer song I heard on Chill's call. Man, you need to play this thing. All of a sudden, Remo's getting played over here. He didn't even know how the hell the record got on. Or if you're talking to a label executive, man, you know what? This is an artist to watch for. This is the next to blow. This Remo kid, you need to check him out. And they may go and check him out just literally on your word. Think about that. Everybody on this call has influence. Everybody on this call has somebody that they can call and say just what I just said. You need to go check this record out. All of a sudden, it's got thousands of streams on the record, just because a few people just planted some seeds. Everybody go tell one, go tell one. You know what that's called? Going viral. That's what all of our asses want, right? Everybody wants to go viral. People don't even understand. And I'm not saying this to boast or brag. I'm saying this as a testimony because I'm hoping that this call helps somebody here. I did not even imagine 15 years ago when I thought of the idea, because the idea of Digital Radio Tracker came from being able to provide for my clients. A lot of music I was servicing out and nobody was there. I wasn't able to get any type of reporting to be able to say proof of what the work was being done. And therefore, I called everybody in the business. I said, man, you need to track some of these other stations. They're breaking my music. And everybody told me no and shut the doors on me. Said, nobody's listening to internet radio. Nobody cares about that stuff. Nobody's ever going to pay attention to it. And I said, okay, well, if nobody cares about it, then I'm going to care about it. And little did I know that 15 years later, Digital Radio Tracker would become a global brand. I didn't have the millions of dollars. I begged everybody to help me. Can you send me $2 and help me with this? And so many people slammed the door. They said, man, I ain't got nothing for you. Ain't nobody listening to that stuff. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing at Terrestrial FM. I had to spend my own money. I had certain believers, I won't say all their names publicly, but I had certain people that believed in me. They didn't even believe necessarily in the idea. They just believed in me. And they said, you know what? I like your hustle. I respect your grind. I respect your game. I know you're going to make something happen sooner or later. And so what I did was I took the seeds that were sown into my life and I planted them all over the world. And little did I know that there'll be people in India, in China, in United Kingdom, in Africa with these plaques on their wall thinking about DRT every day. There's studios, there's radio stations with these plaques on the wall. I did not even realize that what God had spoken to me, what I believe God had spoken to me 15 years ago, would be even still alive and in business 15 years later. So many people told me we'd be out of business in the first 5 years. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. You don't have a 200-man staff and this and that, the other. So I share that testimony to share with people that you don't have to have millions of dollars. You can go viral if you believe in yourself and you believe in your brand and you believe in what you're doing. Don't think, oh, I have to pay these big influencers. Kim Kardashian has to post about me and this person has to post about me. You know what I did? I got out there and I did the work. People go on my Instagram page. I didn't even realize this. I get people mad at me because they say, man, we keep going on your page trying to see who you're going to take a picture with next. I'm like, where did all that come from? It became a thing. And all I was doing was sharing my vision with the world. I wasn't waiting on other people to talk about it. I said, you know what? I'm going to get out here. I'm going to find out who the movers and shakers are. I'm going to go to everybody that I can, all of these artists, and I'm going to tell them what Digital Radio Tracker is doing for them. And you know what's most of these artists, they thank me, they hug me, they say, man, you know what? most of them never even seen their analytics till I showed them a DRT report, because their record companies and managers have kept it from them for so many years and stuff. A lot of them didn't even know that things like that exist. And they thank me for sharing it with them. And these are some people worth $100 million, $50 million. People are very successful. And they thank me. And I said, wow. And I said, this is amazing. And sometimes I don't even believe it. I don't even say, wait a minute, something that I created is making this much of an impact? Mm-hmm. I consider myself a nobody. I'm just somebody running around in the music industry like everybody else is. But I realized something, that you have something called credit or credibility. So even if you don't have money, we all have a certain level of credibility that you can pick up the phone and you can call people and ask them for help if you keep your name good and you do right by people. And that's all I did. When I started doing that, what I call tour, I started in 2018. The first artist I did it with was Jeezy, Young Jeezy. I had to start with somebody I can get to quick, somebody that I knew. I didn't even imagine what started off with a street rapper was going to turn into putting me in rooms with Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama, all kinds of people. I mean, Cardi B, all kinds of people, everybody. And I'm like, this is crazy because of what I'm sharing with you guys today. And I hope this word helps somebody. Is that it's about putting your hands to work and trusting God will get in it. That's all you can do. And sometimes you have to just get out there and get to work, and you don't always know what you're doing. You don't always know who's listening, but you just have to keep fighting the good fight, and you'll be surprised what doors will start opening for you.
The song Stanky Leg and I Smoke, I Drink.
Yeah, those are good examples. Those were my records. I started both of those songs. At the time, there was no conference calls like this, but they both started with me and that label, that company, that artist, literally just sending the music out. That's it. Just emailing it to DJs, the people that we had on our list. Our list was nowhere near as big as it is now. Back then, it was very small. It was like 500, I think, 800. It wasn't even that many. Now people laugh if you tell them you have a list of 500. But we had to start somewhere. We had to get the music out there, get it moving. We took a kid that never even had a record out. His name was Cashin' Out. And it was his first single ever. He didn't even have a mixtape out. And me and Kermit, who's on this call right now, we took this kid from nothing. Nobody knew who the hell he was. Straight from the hood. He was 18 years old. Mama managing him, everything. And we worked the hell out that record. We believed in it. We launched it before Christmas, and we got everybody in the bidding war before L.A. Reid signed him to Epic Records. And the record went from gold independently to platinum. And that was one of our greatest achievements as far as something on the just of recent decades. But the reality was, when you can take an artist that nobody's ever heard of, didn't have a story, didn't have followers, didn't have all the social media, didn't have none of this stuff, and you can take them and build them into something. But again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this call. Full circle moment here, you guys. It's a hit record. It starts with a hit record. But I'm not going to lie to anybody. There was a lot of business behind it. Remember, it's the business of music, not the music business. So it was a lot of business behind that record. And me and Kermit stepped up. We took the business behind the record and we said, okay, we're going to share it with the world. And therefore it began to get successful, because the music is what brought it home after we positioned it. It wasn't us. I'll never take the credit for it. It was the music. Same thing with I Smoke, I Drink. Same thing with Laffy Taffy. Same thing with Bunny Hop. Same thing with Stanky Leg. All those are records started. The I Smoke, I Drink. All those records I started. Party Like a Rock Star. All them records. I started Gucci Man Icy. I was one of the first people to leak it out to DJs. We were the first to be taking him running around the strip clubs and everything, trying to promote this guy named Gucci Man. Nobody gave a damn about him. We couldn't give the record away. That's reality, is what it was. But he was smart. We did a lot of business. We grabbed DJs in every city. We took them to the strip clubs, and we made sure everybody had a good-ass time. And that good-ass time wound up paying off for him. And he became very successful.
I see we have a question from Hipstar Scent and DJ Care. You still here, Hipstar Scent?
The Hipstar has a record actually right now in the top 10 on Digital Radio Tracker. So I see he probably wants to mention about that. Also, we have somebody in here that had a record #1 for 3 weeks. His manager in here too, Odilla. So there's a lot of people in here that have stuff on DRT already. I was on a Zoom call earlier where somebody said they had, I think it was 13 records, either currently or had 13 records on Digital Radio Tracker.
Man, that's fantastic.
Go ahead, Hipstars.
Hey, hello everyone. Thanks for having us on the call. Yes, I do manage the artist Jay Hen, and I want to give a shout out to Kermit, the Superstar Maker, and it's great working with him on our team. But also, we are on the Digital Radio Tracker, and right now in the top 10. And I just want to say it feels really good to finally get, some recognition for the money that we spent like over the last 10 years, because we've been doing music consistently for 10 years. I mean, and it's just, you put your heart in it, you put your money in it, and you expect to see results. And so being on this, chart is really good, and it's a good feeling. And also it's not only, just being on the chart, but it's affecting other areas as well. I can because I monitor everything. I watch the numbers. I can already see that
streams coming in now. Yeah.
The last week, the Spotify followers are going up. I mean, it's over 100 for sure. Mm-hmm. And one thing is affecting the other. So yes, anybody on this call will tell you Digital Radio Tracker. Yes, 10 out of 10 for me. Thanks.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you very much, but it's not about that. It's one of the things that you said that I want everybody to really understand. It's about building your audience. DRT is just a stepping stone. It's just one avenue. It's about continuing to grow that audience. And so as they continue to work Jay Hen, they're going to see it continue to trickle into streams and different platforms, and the music's being shared and getting around and things. And that audience is going to continue to grow. Remember what I talked about earlier, the business at the beginning of the day. Hipstar Entertainment took care of business. So therefore, now their music is starting to move a little bit. It ain't all the way there. They understand that. But they understand that, you know what, now it's getting ready to be about the music. Because as the audience grows and people hear their music, if that song is not up to par, they're not going to get that ultimate end goal result. But notice what she said also about, she understood that. And she recognized that she had to get the train moving. That's what so many independent artists and labels don't get, is everybody's sitting on their hands waiting on everybody else to move the train for them, instead of stepping up and saying, no, it starts with me and it ends with me. That is how you start going down the right path for success. So I just wanted to share that for those that are trying to understand what separates one company from another, one artist from another. I said it earlier, the hardest thing to do is to get people to take you seriously in this business. I fight every single day to get people to take me personally seriously, as well as my company. So it's a very challenging thing to do, but you can do it. You have to keep working at it. Not everybody's going to believe. Not everybody's going to see the shiny light and the shiny penny out the gate. Is you have to find those. It's called look for those that's looking for you. Once you learn to do that and you start connecting with people that are like-minded individuals, you'll find that your success will grow more and more by the day. And don't spend a lot of your time worrying about those naysayers. If I would have listened to all the people that told me, oh, nobody's listening to internet radio, you're about to lose a ton of money. I spent over $1 million in this thing. Over $1 million of my own money, as well as the people that believed in me. And I'm still spending money because I believe in what we're doing. If you don't believe in it, why the hell do you think other people are supposed to believe in it? So sometimes you have to put that energy, that effort, and allow people to take you seriously, and you'll be surprised. One of the things I really love, and I'll say it, he don't like me talking about it, I'll talk about Kermit. One of the things I really love about Mr. Henderson Kermit that's on this call is he goes above and beyond to help people. This man has always, he might get paid $1, but he's going to give you $100 worth of work. I've never seen anybody but him in this business do that. Whereas everybody else, you give them $1, you're going to get $1. He taught me that. That's one of my mentors in this business. I paid very close attention to him for over 30 years. I've watched Kermit work, and I've seen him do that time after time after time again. And that has now been embedded into me, but I give him the acknowledgement for it. That now that's what I do. I give all of my clients above and beyond their expectations. If I promise them this, they're going to get that. They'll never get this. So once you start putting yourself out there differently, then you'll get more people taking you seriously. Then I'm going to end with this note. I'll give you this nugget for free. The number one reason why people fail is also the number one reason why they succeed. And that is because they're not consistent. That's it. If you're consistent in what you do, you can be successful. If you're not consistent, you'll also fail. So you need to chew on that for a little while. You need to really figure it out. What is it you want to do? If you want to be an artist, you want to be an executive, you want to be a PR person, you want to be a DJ. Are you consistent in what you do? Do you do it on a daily basis? Or are you just doing it as a hobby? I'm only an artist on Friday nights. Well, then you're not an artist. That's just a hobby. That's just something you're doing for fun. You should be an artist all the time. You should be a DJ all the time. Yeah, you may not be able to be behind your turntables all the time, but it's always on your mind. You're always writing. You're always creating. You're always thinking about the next. That's when it's in you. You know what that's called? It's called the it factor. Most people can't define it, but we've all heard that term. But most people can't define it. I just defined it for people that don't know what that is. The it factor is when you have it in you and it's being brought out of you publicly. It's what's already in you. And so if it's not being brought out publicly, it's not your it factor. You're trying to make it your it factor. And there's a whole lot of people doing that. At some point, you have to recognize if it's not for you, it's not for you. I started off, and I'll share my story. I started off as a professional artist manager. I managed artists for 25 years. I had the artist Silk. I consulted with Rap-A-Lot and the Ghetto Boys and Scarface in the early days. I worked with a lot of different artists over the years. But what I found out, it took me 25 years to find this out. But my it factor was doing what I'm doing now, was giving back of this industry that I love. I'm a music connoisseur. I study this industry. My it factor was marketing. I learned something at a very young age. If you can market people, you can market anything. Anything. And I realized I had a knack for that. That was my it factor. It wasn't all the other stuff. I used all the other things to give me the contacts, the network, to build my name, to get credibility, all kinds of things. But my real it factor is what I do now. That's why I have a very successful marketing company. We have thousands of clients from all over the world. And that's not to boast or brag. That's because we do what we say we're going to do. It's that simple. Anyone can have a successful company if you do that one principle. Just do what the hell you say you're going to do. If you don't do that, then get out the way. Then just get out the way. Or if you can't do it, then don't take somebody's money or give it back to them. It's that simple. But you have a lot of people in this music business, I'm going to use that term, in the music business because they're running around in it and they're just taking people's money, or they're not operating with integrity. They cannot do what they say they can do. Therefore, they're in the way. What your job is to do is to have discernment through all that nonsense. Remember, it's not losses, it's lessons, right? I'm sure everybody on this call has taken losses, financially, loss of your time and everything else. But it's lessons. What did you learn from it? I had this big thing I teach all the kids that are around me. I don't have any kids. I say this one thing to them and they all start copying me all the time. I always say, won't do that again. Get that in your vocabulary. Won't do that again. So I don't care if you lost money, you lost time, whatever it is, say that to yourself. Say, hey, you know what? I won't do that again. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from those losses. Grow from them. I heard someone say the other day, they said, even plants grow from dirty water. I said, I ain't never really thought about that.
Get it
So
out.
why the hell can't we grow from our losses, from our lessons? Why aren't we growing? Think about that. Next question.
All right. Well,
I have a question, and then Chair Breezy has one. I'm gonna ask you the question. I asked you this question about 5 years ago on the Zoom call that Mad Dog was doing. Mad Dog is out of Puerto Rico and out of Atlanta. And I asked you, who's broke the most records in digital radio tracker history? Since you got me over here already crying, I'm gonna ask you that question. The next question is that who's been with digital radio tracker from day one, and whose idea was it for you to do DRT plaques? And I'm gonna go back on mute. Now I'm done.
Okay, I don't even have to say it, but I will. I'm sure everybody on this call can say it. Kermit the Superstar Maker. ECMD Radio was one of the first stations. Kermit Superstar Maker was one of the first people to believe in digital radio tracker. And also Kermit was also the one that instituted the idea that we need to do our own certified plaques. So I give him all the credit. I'll say it publicly, Kermit. If it wasn't for you, none of those things would probably even exist. The reality is that you saw something that a lot of people didn't see, and you believed in it. You believed in me. You said, hey, wait a minute. This kid's been running around here for 30 years. He's doing something. I see the energy. I see the effort, and I'm going to get behind him. I don't have any problem publicly saying it. Kermit is one of the advisors of DRT. Kermit is one of the initial people that invested. And when I say invested, Kermit invested money. He didn't just invest his time. He put his money where his mouth is. He said, no, I believe in DRT. I believe in you, Mike. I believe in what you're doing. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. And I will always say it. And I'm not just saying that because he's on this call. I would say it on any call because it's the truth. The reality is that ECMD Radio, one of the things that Kermit has done that I think, and I'm not saying no other independent radio station out here doesn't support independent music, but one of the things that ECMD Radio has done is has played a tremendous amount of music. I'm going to put it out there. There's over 500 new songs that get added to ECMD Radio. Kermit's playing everybody's stuff. Everybody's stuff, because he's a giver like that. He doesn't care if there's 1 million people listening to his station or 50 people listening. Somebody's going to hear your stuff because Kermit's going to make sure that thing is played, even if nobody else is playing it. And I love him for that. And so as we started tracking analytics, we started seeing that one of the things that we also noticed that Kermit also has, and he may not say it, he has more DRT plaques on his wall than anybody else because he supports the vision. He doesn't get them for free. He buys them. He buys them because he says, you know what? I understand about supporting a vision, supporting something that's growing, that stands for something. Kermit has plaques on his wall for artists that they don't even have a plaque. That's how much he believes in them. And he says, you know what? I'm going to support, even if they don't get it. So for that, I commend him and lift him up high. I mean, I'm eternally grateful, Kermit. And
everybody give Kermit a round of applause.
There needs to be so many more people like you in this industry, and it would be a better place. Unfortunately, the reality is what I just did to Kermit was I gave him his flowers while he's alive. I lifted him up while he's here, and he can hear this in his right frame of mind. This is what we don't do to each other. Why do we have to wait until somebody dies to send them flowers? It's crazy. It's bananas to me. That's why I always speak up anytime I have the opportunity. I don't like to name drop, but I will speak up on names where there's value there, where they're warranted, where it's deserving, because there's so many people behind the scenes. People don't understand this. If it wasn't for people like Kermit constantly texting me and emailing me, hey, you need to make some time. You need to get on this Come Clean call. People don't even understand. Kermit, you can even tell them, you've been trying to get me on this call for what, about three months. There's been times that I call and all I can do is just listen in or whatever and just try to be supportive. But to actually get on this call and be able to speak, it's been a long time coming. Me and Will, we talked the other day, and we've known each other forever, but then yet we haven't connected, and we need to all do better. And that's my final message on this call, is everybody that hears my voice on this call, we all need to do better by one another. Quit trying to tear each other down, tear each other's calls down. We need to support one another's movement. There's an event coming up, I heard. Unfortunately, I'm not able to attend, but I would love to come to one of those. I will come to one of those events, and I will pay my own way. I don't want you to pay for me. I'll fly there myself. That's why I say it's about giving back. People don't realize you have to support one another and each other's movements and what each other's doing. Quit trying to tear everybody down and, oh, that's this person and they're doing this and they're doing that. Oh, there's only 10 people on that call, or there's 100 people on this call. What it's about quality, not quantity. I don't care how many people's on this call, because what I know I did when I get off this call in a few minutes, I know I left something at the table. I know I added value to this call that if I didn't come on this call, somebody else would have had to, but I know I did, and that's a job well done. That's all I can say, is every time you put yourself out there, you need to leave something on the table, just like I did today. So I'm hoping each and every person that hears my voice on this call got something to take away from this that they can think about. And this is the best part about it. It was completely free. It was sponsored by Kermit and Will and Come Clean Empire in putting this whole thing together. And that's a beautiful thing, when there's people out here paying a lot of money and they should have been on this call. So I don't know. I think I heard somebody's recording it. I hope that y'all put this stuff out there, and I hope that millions of people are able to share it. You guys boost it, share it with the world, and I hope it touches more lives and more people can get something out of this. And maybe then they'll realize they should have been on this call.
And my Alexis Bria plaque ships on Monday. My number one Alexis Bria plaque ships on Monday to me, and she gets hers shipped to her.
Yeah, we will be putting together certain things, formatted for the call and all of that to give out later. I really, really have enjoyed the call. We have several different hands up.
Yeah, and you know what that means? That means we have to do a part 2. That's what that means. That means the demand is there. I will be back. I can't say it's going to be next Wednesday, but I will be. As a matter of fact, I can't be next Wednesday. I'm going on tour with Akon and Neo, right? Neo and Akon, that's right, next week. So when I get back from that tour, I will definitely be on another call. You got my word on that.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from the man himself. He'll be back, and we'll be back to holler at you, but we got some other things happening as well. And man, let's send it up, man. Let's send it up.
And if some people want to put their questions in the feed, then Kermit can either shoot them to me and we can get them answered, or just keep the list, chill, and we'll do them on another call.
Okay. So tell them, shoot out your digital radio tracker Instagram.
Follow us on social media at Digital Radio Tracker. The website's digitalradiotracker.com. Very easy, digitalradiotracker.com. Go on there, use the searchable database, sign up for a free account, and explore. And feel free to email questions, comments, anything that you need. Check us out, and we'll go from there. But again, follow us on social media at digitalradiotracker.com.
Michael's also being interviewed this Friday afternoon at 12:30 to 1 Eastern Time on the Every Morning Zoom call presented by Trill Wheel and Franklin Music Group.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can we give Mike his flowers real
quick?
Hold
on a second. I just saw Trill pop up. Go ahead, Trill, and then we got Lucky.
Oh no, I just enjoyed the call, and I can't wait to have you on my call on ZFM
University on Friday. So
Oh, okay, great. You're the one that's putting that call. Okay, great. Okay,
yes, sir.
yeah, definitely. I'm excited about it. Look forward to it. And trust me, it will be similar to this, but yet different. So we'll make sure that there's some nuggets dropped on your call because everything that we do, like I said earlier, we want to leave something at the table. We want everybody to feel like, oh, well, I already heard that. I don't need to get on that call. No, you want to be on every call because you're going to miss something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We'll see.
We're gonna put something together. We're gonna put something special together for the people.
One more. I think Lucky needed to say something, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you your flowers, since we're giving flowers tonight, y'all, because Mike, like he said, man, I've been knowing Mike a long time, and he's definitely one of the realest guys in this business. And the way I met Mike, y'all, it was at the Southern Entertainment Awards.
Yep, and Lucky, tell him how many years ago that was, man. That was about it's been about 20 years ago or so, huh?
Boy, that's when the Southern Entertainment used to be super stupid.
Yeah, and Tunica, Tunica, Mississippi.
Yep, and I was managing an artist by the name of Jimmy Mack at the time.
That's right. What was that? That song was called Raw. Again, another example. Here we are 20 years later talking about a record out of Indianapolis that was a hit then, that's a hit still today. Jimmy Mack. Yeah. It's called Raw, right? That's
yep, it's Raw. And this is what's funny because Mike, we were sitting down. He was telling us about DRT, and we played our record for him. He said, "Man, I'm about to get y'all on the stage." He went in there and talked to somebody. Jimmy Mack was up on the stage performing. By the time we get out, Yo Gotti and everybody was over there trying to talk to us.
Yep, so, yeah, it was crazy.
I know Mike got to go, but we got to get Mike Lee on here because he done text me and threatened my life.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Lee. What up, Mr. Lee?
Yo, Mike. What up? What up, Mike?
Thank you, Lucky.
Hold on a second, Mr. Lee. And Mr. Lee is doing something every Saturday now. He's gonna do a Zoom call every Saturday. He's gonna do the baddies every other week, and he's gonna do another call on the Saturdays he don't do the baddies call. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, great.
Yo, what's up, Mike? It's been a minute, man. Like you one of the guys that inspired me, man. You, DJ Chill. I met you through Al the Bandit, though.
You there? We lost.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. What market are you in now?
Nah, I'm in Dallas, bro. Like,
oh man, you down the street? Yeah, I'm in Houston still.
Nah. I've been seeing you like when we used to come down there, man. Like when Lump and Lester Payson first started down there.
Yeah. And speaking of all the music conferences, we used to have everything going on around here.
Yeah.
Now it's a totally different scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, good to hear from you and things and yeah, get with Kermit. I have to try to check your call. You see, you do a call on Saturdays. We have to try to figure out how to get on one of them calls.
Yeah. But I call it's like basically, man, the independent female movement. I have over 1,000 females from everywhere, bro.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, that's a beautiful thing. Trust me, especially in today's music industry. I mean, I mentioned a Chameleon earlier. There's so many female artists, female DJs. DJ Mischievous out of Albuquerque, go check her out, man. She is phenomenal. There is so many females getting in this industry and tearing it up and good at what they do. So I love hearing that and would love to share some stuff with them as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Chill.
Okay. So I really appreciate everybody for coming out and support, and there's a lot of things that are going to be coming forth, and I appreciate you